Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Apologise for the lack of a few episodes the past few weeks. As I mentioned, if you did see the Instagram story, I call it the flu that's knocking around Melbourne, and geez, did it knock me around. I thought it was just best to rest my voice up so I can come back and give you guys the best quality content that I possibly can deliver to you guys. I thought it was only right I did that. But what a week of football we had, and this is the best season of AFL we have ever witnessed. I personally believe, and I've had a lot of people tell me that they believe so as well. So what I'm going to do with these solo episodes going forward, I do have some guests lined up, and when people can get on, some guest co-host people. A lot of people are busy around this time of year, but they when they can, they've promised to come on, and I've got some guests lined up. I've got one coming up in 2 weeks, so stay tuned for that. But what I'm going to do on these solo episodes is, instead of going through the whole round and dissecting all the games like we would do on a full episode, I'm going to go through 9 things we learned. So I'm going to take one thing we learned from each game, and then I've also got the team of the week here and the Amartey Party 22. So without further ado, let's get into the first game, and it was the my apologies. It was being retro round. How good were those retro jerseys as well? It was Footscray v Melbourne at Marvel. It was a double header on Friday night, and Footscray ended up coming home with the win by 51 points, 110 to 59. And the thing that I believe we learned from this game is the Bulldogs are a real threat, and they are really hitting their stride. So I think they're the second seed at the moment going in towards the finals. I think Brisbane are just a little bit ahead of them, but Western Bulldogs are dangerous, and one of those reasons is I think Cody Waitman in that forward line has been so influential coming in, the way he can apply pressure and play as more of that taller forward, like a Toby Green type. He reminds me a lot of that. So that's one thing I learned. As we moved over to the other game on the Friday night, West Coast v Gold Coast at Optus, and it was West Coast getting the job done by 10 points, 97 to 87. And the thing I learned was some of the West Coast kids are coming through really nicely, and I'm really excited to see some. Obviously, we know Harley, we know of Harley Reid, and there were some other ones out there going around. There was one player. Let me just get his name up. Sorry, apologies. Just his name has slipped my mind as we go to round 21. But it was... Obviously, you got Tyrell Dewar. He really impressed me. But the other one was Zach True. And obviously, Ruben Gimby's another one. Ryan Marrick, can't he take a mark? So I reckon they're going to take a while, but those kids are looking not too bad for the West Coast thing after big questions of them early in the season. And Gold Coast just simply can't win away from home, and they need to get that sorted for next season, because it is absolutely ridiculous that they can't win a game away from home. They should be playing finals, and they need to have a good long look at themselves, I think. Saturday, we moved on to North Melbourne v Richmond at Marvel. 14-6-90 defeated 10-17, 77. And the thing that I learned here is Luke Davies-Uniacke is already dominating games, but he's ready to become a top 3 to top 5 midfielder in the competition. He was extraordinary, and North Melbourne will want to get that signature signed as soon as possible. Geelong v Adelaide. Geelong getting it done by 5 points, so another one of those good games. And the thing I learned is you can't knock a man down too long. I reckon he's had a lot of criticism lately, Jeremy Cameron, the way he's not hitting scoreboards. So he's like, stuff this, I'm going back, I'm going to kick 6. And it was a Jeremy Cameron show for everyone to see. And the celebration just shows how much it meant to him, the grabbing of the jumper. It was really good to see Jeremy Cameron at full flight. Saturday night, Collingwood v Carlton in Scott Pennebury's 400th, 12-12-84. Collingwood got the job done by 3 points, 11-15-81 Carlton, after Mitch McGovern missed after the siren to win the game. He had to kick the goal, and unfortunately, he didn't register a score. The thing I learned from this game, as I just take a sip of water, the thing I learned from this game is Scott Pennebury, at the age of 30, is he 36 or 35? Let me just round that up. So I don't get it wrong. At 36, Scott Pennebury still has it. So on the weekend, he still was so influential, having 27 disposals, 9 clearances, and 6 tackles, and nearly kicked an unbelievable goal. He is well on track to breaking Boomer Harvey's record. I can keep your eye on that. The old boy still has so much more in him. And the other game on, the other game that was on Saturday night was the demolition. Port Adelaide beating the top of the ladder, Sydney Swans, by 112 points. 22-16 to 148 to 5-6-36. The thing that I've learned from this, not just what's happened to the Swans, but I want to signal out a Port Adelaide player who I think's had a really good month of footy. That's Mitch Georgiades. Obviously, he's had a lot of injury problems, and he's come back. And his last month of footy, he's kicked 15 goals since round 17, and he also missed round 18. So that's 15 in the last 4 games, with the highest goal kick to bag of 5. He's really hitting his straps, and with Charlie Dixon getting older, they can't rely on him as much anymore. Todd Marshall, a bit inconsistent and injured. Mitch Georgiades looks like to be the one. Sunday, another great game, another game decided by under a goal, and it was GWS coming home with the win after Tom Green kicks the match winner, 12-12-84, defeated 12-10-82. And the thing that I learnt from this game is the GWS Giants, you can't knock them down for much longer, but not just that. When a game needs to be won and they need someone to stand up, it was none other than the captain, Toby Green. Was kept quiet early, put himself a bit in the midfield and kicked a goal as well. Ended up with 3 goals from 17 disposals. He was magnificent and exactly what a captain needs to do, and something we've always known Toby Green to be able to do. So look out for the Giants and Toby Green finding some form. Essendon v Fremantle, another great game. This time 1 point. And it was the Bombers keeping their season alive. 13-12-90 defeated the Dockers, a straight kicking Dockers, 14-5-89. The thing I learned from this is I've mentioned this probably about 6 to 8 weeks ago, and shout out to Connor, former co-host of this show. He should in when he can. He's a bit busy at work, but he's going to try and come on during finals time. But he said this to me, and I agreed with him, and I mentioned to him probably 6 to 8 weeks ago, but he reinforced it. Nick Martin needs to stay at half forward because that's where he's most damaging. His use of the ball, bringing it inside forward 50 while also hitting the scoreboard is exceptional. Uses the ball well, can find a target at every angle, and he ended up with 25 disposals at 84% efficiency and kicked the 2 goals. So I think Nick Martin needs to stay at half forward for the Bombers. St Kilda v Brisbane at Marvel, and it was Brisbane with a smashing of the Saints of 85 points, 19-10, 124 to 5-9-39. And the talking point I want to mention was, how good is the Brisbane Lions forward line functioning? It's like Joe Danaher kicked 4. Eric Hipwood isn't in there in the moment, but you got Joe Danaher, Cam Rayner, who's coming out of his shell, mixing his time between the forward and midfield. You got Zach Bailey there. You got Kai Lohman, Logan Morris has come out of there. Calamar Chi spending a bit more time deeper and proving something for goal. And I think Brisbane Lions are the number 1 seed at the moment, overtaking the Swans. So while we're talking about that, let's have a look at the ladder. So the ladder reads at the moment, first place on 56 points, Sydney. Sydney Swans, hunting them down and breathing down their neck very closely is Brisbane Lions on 54 points. Then it's Port Adelaide in 3rd on 52. GWS Giants in 4th on 52. Geelong in 5th on 52. Fremantle in 6th on 50. Western Bulldogs in 7th and Carlton in 8th, both on 48. And we'll read out the ones who can make it still. And Essendon are 2 points behind Carlton and the Bulldogs on 46 points in 9th spot. Hawthorn a game behind the game out of the 8 in 10th. Collingwood also a game out of the 8 in 11th. Melbourne 2 games out of the 8 on 12th. I think you can put a line from 11th. Then it's Melbourne, Gold Coast in 13th, St Kilda in 14th, Adelaide in 15th, West Coast in 16th, North Melbourne in 17th, and Richmond in 18th. I think the only teams that can make it are the people in the top 8 right now. So Sydney, Brisbane, Port Adelaide, GWS, Geelong, Fremantle, Western Bulldogs, and Carlton. And then Essendon, who are in 9th, Hawthorn, who are in 10th, and Collingwood, who are in 11th, and put a line through there. So Melbourne in 12th. I'm putting a line through them, and that's where it stops. Let me know what you think about that in the comments about who's still alive, or have you still got Melbourne as a potential playing in finals? Let me know about that. But now let's move on to the round 21 team of the week. So let's start off with the full back line. I got Nick Newman, Darcy Moore, keeping mixing up between Charlie Curnow and Harry Mackay. Charlie Curnow was kept goalless, and Harry Mackay was kept to one goal. Was a big impact on why that they won the game. Collingwood, between him and Billy Franzen, were exceptional. Carl Amon and in the other back pocket. Half back line, geez, doesn't this guy know how to find the pill? Lockie Whitfield, Harris Andrews, exceptional, as was Dan Houston, who also pushed forward and kicked 2 goals. Through the centre line, I got Caleb Poulter on the wing. I thought he was exceptional. Best game he's played in his career. Marcus Bonampelli, it's self-explanatory, dominated. And Hayden Young kicked the first 2 goals of the game and was really good for the Freo Dockers. It's been really good since they've made his move into second half of last year from the halfback into the midfield. Just his ball use moving forward is so damaging. Half forward line, I've got Toby Green, Jesse Hogan, and Brent Daniels. I've only just looking at it now and didn't even notice when I read it down, but I'm just noticing that it's a whole GWS half forward line, and they thoroughly deserve it. Full forward line, I got Nick Larkey, Jeremy Cameron with his 6, and Jake Stringer with not just the 4 goals is what impressed me the most about about Jake Stringer. What impressed me the most was the fact that he laid 10 tackles, and I think that's extraordinary for Jake Stringer. Such a big body, and to throw his strength and weight around there was really good to see. Through the midfield, is this guy the All-Australian ruckman? Tristan Cherry. Now, I have him in the team of the week, and I think I might have him as the All-Australian ruckman at the moment. Let me know in the comments who you have as the All-Australian ruckman, but I think Tristan Cherry, not only does he win hit-outs, but he gets disposals, he lays a mammoth amount of tackles, and consistently gets clearances. So, I think Tristan Cherry, he'll definitely make the squad, but it's just going to be the question, will he be the All-Australian ruckman? Followed that by his teammate in Luke Davies-Uniacke, dominant performance with 33 disposals and 3 goals. North Melbourne are going to want to get that name signed on a contract very soon. And Willem Drew was really good for Port Adelaide. Interchange, I have the guy in his 250th game, and he's having a very good season. Adam Treloar, then Bailey Dale, Matt Rao, and Paddy Cripps. Now it is time for the Amartey Party 22. Let's go. Geez, it's been a while since I've heard that, and I have missed it. But let's go over what I went back through the weeks that we didn't do it and made my own predictions. So round 19, I put Ben Keys in. That was the game when he kicked 5 and was just dominant. Round 20, I've put James Peatling in. I thought he was extraordinary. 28 disposals, had a mammoth amount of tackles and mammoth amount of clearances. But for this week, first player I've got is a key forward, and he put on an absolute show and proved some of the doubters wrong. I've gone Jeremy Cameron. So shout out to Holty for that one. But we've got Jeremy Cameron. The other person I'm going to go with is Luke Davies-Uniacke. Geez, wasn't he good? But what impressed me was the fact he hit the scoreboard kicking the 3 goals. Not just getting the clearances, but really pushing forward. And his burst out of stoppage is exceptional. So there you have it. Jeremy Cameron or LDU. The poll will be on the story. Make sure to vote who you want in the team. And we're getting to the pointy end of the season where the team will be announced. So stay tuned for that and have your say before the time runs out on the poll. Otherwise, the person you want might not make it. So make sure you get your say in to ensure your player makes it.